CAPD works by using the body's own peritoneal membrane to get rid of toxins. On average, a patient on peritoneal dialysis would have to spend $860 per month, but now would only have to spend $790 per month. And with a subsidy, needy patients would have to pay even less.
A subsidy will help them greatly, especially for patients who have been on CAPD and who have been struggling along for a very long period of time. It may encourage actually some patients who are originally on hemodialysis to switch to CAPD.
Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy of passive resistance was inspired by an event that happened 100 years ago today. He was thrown off a segregated train in Pietermaritzburg, the capital of Natal province, which has since honored him with a statue. But Gandhi's legacy also lives on in South Africa in his granddaughter.
Sita Gandhi, or Sita Tupilya by her married name, is a housewife. She leads a simple life in Durban. She's been there almost all her life, as her parents used to run the news agency set up by her grandfather, Mahatma Gandhi. But as a teenager, she spent 5 years in India with her grandfather. He was then leading the independence movement there. Since then, his philosophy has guided her life.
He's taught me a lot of things. I mean, I can see it in my own life, that I don't value material things, you know, not that I had many material things, but he taught me that material things were the least important.
That's why Sita is contented. She now spends most of the time taking care of her grandchildren, telling them about their famous great-great-grandfather.
I think he was a very great man, and I mean, years to come there won't be anybody like that anymore. I mean, when you think of what's happening in India today, this is the time I really thought about him, that he was the one man that could have brought India together again.
By November, Clarke Quay will come alive with food, fun and lots of entertainment for visitors. Its developer says work on the Riverside village is on schedule and some 70% of the occupancy space has been leased out. Nancy Ang reports.
There'll be over 200 shops on 21,000 square meters along the Singapore River. They are housed in 5 main blocks, named after their historical uses. At Merchants Court is high-class dining and shopping. And along the shophouse row are 5 footways with shops selling spicy sauces, junk and bread the traditional way. Tongkangs can also be hired for rides down the river. And it's children's world at the Foundry, a 3,000 square meter adventureland is being built with a Disneyland concept. Specialty ice cream will be sold at the Traders Market, near where the original Whampoa Ice House used to stand. And over at the cannery, visitors can try freshly brewed beer while shopping for gifts and home items.
Hey, Clarke Quay will be a destination. Clarke Quay is a festival village, and it's not going to be a theme park, it's not going to be a shopping center, and it's not going to be a restaurant row. What it is actually is parts of all of those things. So what happens is there's enough critical mass of each one of those 3 areas to attract people to come on repeat visits.
And tomorrow's weather, a fair day at home. Temperatures between 26 and 35 degrees. Fair too in KL, but showers in the rest of ASEAN. And mostly rain in Northeast Asia.
And that's all for this evening.
Join us tomorrow and catch Japan's royal wedding.
Good night.
Good night.
Gardenia, the largest producer of sandwich bread in Asia, opens its new Singapore plant today. One of Asia's most modern in terms of computer-integrated bread baking equipment, a computerized bulk processing system pre-proportions ingredients and controls the dough mixture. Based on the traditional American sponge and dough method, Gardenia bread is made from the finest natural ingredients, enriched with protein, vitamins and minerals. The natural fermentation and cross-graining process gives it the soft, spongy, tender, crusted taste of a morning loaf. The bakery will be running 7 days a week, baking and delivering fresh, tasty bread to its consumers through 2,700 outlets throughout the island. The next time you pick up a loaf wrapped in these bright, cheerful hues, it's Gardenia in all its morning freshness.
Tonight on Inside Asia, a peek into the Hermit Kingdom and an exclusive interview with Thailand's pro-democracy leader, Chamlong Srimong. This program is brought to you by the Overseas Union Bank.
Tonight on Inside Asia, making sense of North Korea and an exclusive interview with Thailand's pro-democracy activist Chamlong Srimong. Good evening. In 4 days' time, North Korea will be out of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. The government had announced its intention to leave the treaty 3 months ago. This was in protest of the International Atomic Energy Agency's demands to inspect 2 nuclear facilities north of Pyongyang. North Korea's withdrawal heightened fears that it is engaged in a secret nuclear weapons program, and it dealt a blow to international efforts to curb the spread of nuclear arms. A fervent campaign is taking place to woo North Korea back into the NPT, but with no success so far. Inside Asia takes a look at the country and the elements which contribute to its notoriety.
North Korea, where life is regimented, disciplined and devoted to socialism, according to its great leader, Kim Il-sung. From international politics to economics, this country has kept itself isolated and earned the title, the Hermit Kingdom. But this hermit cannot be ignored. North Korea has over 1 million armed men and a military arsenal that includes an advanced model of the Scud missile. Fired from North Korea, these missiles could hit most of South Korea and even parts of Western Japan. Together with the suspicion that North Korea has nuclear weapons, it's enough to make its neighbors twitch whenever North Korea makes a sudden move. One move taking place now is the transfer of power from Kim Il-sung to his reclusive son and beloved leader, Kim Jong-il. The younger Kim has already taken over most of the day-to-day business of running the government. But according to Korean specialist Dr. James Cotton, the power transition will not be smooth.
There's a lot of genuine regard for Kim Il-sung. He was, after all, I think, a person with a certain amount of charisma, a very shrewd political operator. But I really can't see that Kim Jong-il is a credible figure at all. As far as the ordinary North Korean is concerned, the only thing that he's ever accomplished, I mean, apart from being responsible for building a number of quite useless monuments, which must have been very expensive to construct, is that he writes a lot of books on literature and art and the theatre.
As if to compensate for that, Kim Jong-il was made chairman of the military committee. He now has powers to issue military orders and strengthen his political standing. It's suggested that he's behind North Korea's decision to withdraw from the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. His target audience being internal rather than external.
So it's an unusual group of people with priorities which are really not so much aimed at national security, but at securing their own well-being and continuance of their leadership. And so a lot of the things that they do can be interpreted in this way.
The political ambiguities also trickle down to affect the economy. North Korea's economy has contracted at a rate of 5% each year since 1990. From basic food to consumer goods to the supply of electricity and petrol, North Korea's policy of self-sufficiency has failed on all counts. A faction of economic liberals recognize that problem and have proposed a special free trade zone at the mouth of the Tumen River as a solution. The plan is in its development stage, but the project remains in the hands of the country's rulers.